Hello YouTube. Robert Alvarez, the Psychic Witch, also known as Mr. Lighting and a Fan. And yes, I have my lighting and I have my fan. So it's been a while since I've done a Bookstagram video, but usually when I do a Bookstagram video, I'm telling you about the books that I'm currently reading. This time I'm telling you about the books that I want to read. It's a variety, so just so you know. So first, let me start with, being the crazy cat man that I am, Agnes Aubert's Mystical Cat Shelter, written by Heather Fawcett, the author of Emily Wild's Encyclopedia of Fairies, which I've discovered is part of a trilogy. This is the cover of the book. And of course, Drake, who's more commonly known as my awesome audiovisual person for my YouTube videos, will do a close-up of the cover of the book. And now I will read to you the synopsis, although some of you probably have heard of this book. A woman who runs a cat rescue in 1920s Montreal turns to a grouchy but charming magician to help save her shelter in this heartwarming, cozy fantasy from the New York Times best-selling author of the Emily Wild series. Agnes Aubert leads a meticulously organized life, and she likes it that way. As the proudly type A manager of a cat rescue charity, she has devoted her life to finding forever homes for stray cats. Agnes Aubert has my heart. Now it's the shelter that needs a new home, and the only landlord who will rent a space to a cat rescue is a mysterious man called Havelock, who also happens to be the world's most infamous magician, running an illegal magic shop out of his basement. Havelock is cantankerous and eccentric, but not handsome, and no, Agnes absolutely does not feel anything but disdain for him. Liar. She thinks he's hot. I don't even need to read this to know. Not handsome. Somebody wants to jump Havelock's bones, and it's not me. It might be when I read the book, but I digress. After all, rumors swirl about his shadowy past, including whispers that his dark magic once almost brought about the apocalypse. Oh my. Then one day, a glamorous magician comes looking for Havelock, putting the magic shop and the cat shelter in jeopardy. To save the shelter, Agnes will have to team up with the magician who nearly ended the world and may now be trying to steal her heart. Havelock is everything Agnes thinks she doesn't need in her life: chaos, mischief, and a little too much adventure. But as she gets to know him, she discovers that he's more than the dark magician of legend, and that she may be ready for a little intrigue and romance in her life. After all, second chances aren't just for rescue cats. And Before I Let Go by the Kennedy Ryan. Now, before I talk to you about this book, let me just tell you, this is one of those books that haunted me. Every time I walked into a bookstore, chain or independent, there it was. Every time I walked into another place that doesn't even specialize in books, there it was. Every time I would go to Instagram, there it was. Every time I would go to a book fair or Bookhaven Books, there it was. I'm like, this bitch is haunting me. So, at a recent grown-up book fair presented by Bookhaven Books, I asked Tara, the living goddess who founded Bookhaven Books, which should be my first Kennedy Ryan experience. No, actually, it was an author chat with Vincent Tirado, the author of You Should Have Been Nicer to My Mom. That's what it was, yes. So, let me read to you the synopsis of Before I Let Go, which is part of a trilogy, by the way. A scorching novel about hope and healing, and what it truly means to love for a lifetime from, quote-unquote, a powerhouse writer, said USA Today. Their love was supposed to last forever, But when life delivered blow after devastating blow, Yasmin and Josiah Wade found that love alone couldn't solve or save everything. It couldn't save their marriage. Yasmin wasn't prepared for how her life fell apart, but she's finally starting to find joy again. She and Josiah have found a new rhythm, co-parenting their 2 kids and running a thriving business together. Yet, like magnets, they're always drawn back to each other, and now they're beginning to wonder if they're truly ready to let go of everything they once had. Soon, one stolen kiss leads to another, and then more. It's hot. It's illicit. It's all good until old wounds reopen. Is it too late for them to find forever? Or could they even be better the second time around? Now, it just so happens that November is Women in Translation Month. However, and I also know that May is, I forgot the phrasing of it, but it is something along the lines of AAPI. It's Asian American Pacific Islander and something else. I will include the correct phrasing and what each letter of the acronym means in the description box. So, of course, I want to read a book written by an Asian author, but here's the thing. Even though November is Women in Translation Month and May is AAPI Heritage Month, I tend to read books written by Asian authors, and I tend to almost always read books written by Asian authors that have been translated into English at least every 2 months or so. This is a book that I've known about for a while, and I must read it. It is titled Welcome to the Hyunam-Dong Bookshop. I'm going to apologize. I know that I massively mispronounced that. It was written by Hwang Bo-Reum and translated by Shanna Tan. Now, those of you in YouTube land, if you want to correct me, please do so. I will read the synopsis to you. The heartwarming Korean smash hit. Young-ju is burned out. She did everything she was supposed to do: go to school, marry a decent man, get a respectable job. Then it all fell apart. In a leap of faith, Young-ju abandons her old life, quits her high-flying career, and follows her dream. She opens a bookshop in a quaint neighborhood in Seoul, Korea. Surrounded by books, Young-ju and her customers take refuge. From the lonely barista to the unhappily married coffee roaster and the writer who sees something special in Young-ju, they all have disappointments in their past. The Hyunam-Dong Bookshop becomes the place where they all learn how to truly live. A heartwarming story about acceptance and the healing power of books. Welcome to the Hyunam-Dong Bookshop is a gentle reminder that it's never too late to scrap the plot and start again. This is a genre of literary fiction that has become a deep favorite of mine, and it is one that I have come to enjoy immensely. And I do not mind telling you that I just love it to pieces. I really do. And I'm looking forward to reading this. It is a national bestseller, which I did not know, but I'm very much looking forward to it. Now, some of you have heard me rave about the late and great Octavia Estelle Butler, author of, among others, Kindred, Parable of the Sower, and its sequel, Parable of the Talents. And had not Ms. Butler died, she would have written other parable novels because she had them in the works. But I have yet to read a book about the late and great Octavia Estelle Butler. So, of course, on the same date as this year's Rainbow Book Fair, Saturday, May 9th, 2026, afterward I went to the Bureau of General Services Queer Division, more commonly known as the Bureau, and I was browsing through the stacks and I found this. Positive Obsession. The Life and Times of Octavia E. Butler by Susana M. Morris. I am going to have Drake, more commonly known as my awesome audiovisual person, do a close-up of the cover of the book. This is what she looked like when she was in her prime. She has a hard face, but that's because she's black and a woman, so she's entitled to have a hard face. And I don't know what happened to her remains, but if she's preserved in a grave somewhere, I have no doubt her face still looks like this. A magnificent cultural biography that charts the life of one of our greatest writers, situating her alongside the key historical and social movements that shaped her work. As the first black woman to consistently publish in the field of science fiction, Octavia E. Butler was a trailblazer. With her deft pen, she created stories speculating about the devolution of the American empire, using it as an apt metaphor for the best and worst of humanity. Our ambition and ingenuity, our naked greed and ambition, our propensity for violence and hierarchy. Her fiction charts the rise and fall of the American project, or if you prefer, the American experiment. The nation's transformation from a provincial backwater to a capitalist juggernaut, made possible by chattel slavery, to a bloated imperialist superpower on the verge of implosion. In this outstanding work, Susana M. Morris places Butler's story firmly within the cultural, social, and historical context that shaped her life: the civil rights movement, black power, black feminism, and Reaganomics. Morris reveals how these influences profoundly impacted Butler's personal and intellectual trajectory, and shaped the ideas central to her writing. Her cautionary tales warn us about succumbing to fascism, gender-based violence, and climate chaos while offering alternative paradigms for religion, family, and understanding our relationships to ourselves. Butler envisioned futures with black women at the center and raised our awareness of how those who are often dismissed have the knowledge to shift the landscape of our world. Often dismissed. Kamala Harris. Pardon me. Morris explains what drove Butler. She wrote because she felt she must. Quote, "Positive obsession is about not being able to stop just because you're afraid and full of doubts. Positive obsession is dangerous. It's about not being able to stop at all." That was a quote from the late and great Octavia Estelle Butler. Notice I say her name with reverence, because I revere her. In fact, I still need to find my copy of The Lineages of Change Tarot. It's here someplace. I better find it. Anyway, one of the other books that I found at the Bureau is titled Beasts and Bromance, The Ranger's Magi, Book 1 by Eskay Kabba. Drake, if you'd be so kind to do a close-up of the cover of the book. Thank you so much. And I will happily read to all of you in YouTube land the synopsis. An encounter with a beast leads to a bromance, but what about the magic of true love? Christopher Jennings can't wait to start a new job as a third-shift forest ranger in the very same woods he played in as a child with his late mother, who loved them just as much as he does. What promises to be a life-changing opportunity becomes more so when he stumbles on a real-life dragon. Usually the overnight shift is quiet at the Dragon Reservation of Albania, but the newest and youngest dragon has found her way off the grounds and into the forest. Karen Beals, lead dragon tamer and magus, is the only one who can find and tame the baby dragon. Two worlds collide, literally, when Chris and Karen meet. I should pronounce it differently, but I think that is the correct Gaelic pronunciation. Kieran, that's it. When Chris and Kieran meet, a strong friendship and an unexpected attraction grows between them as they patrol and work nights together. But to move away from their comfortable bromance means to enter each other's world. A sexual fantasy for Kieran, a magical one for Chris. Will they be ready for it? Discover a fantastical world full of love, lust, magic, and of course, dragons. I don't mind telling you I'm very excited about this book. And of course, because we are on the verge of June, which for many states in the United States and in many countries on planet Earth is Pride Month, I must also talk about Queer Spirits, a gay men's myth book by Will Roscoe. As lovers, healers, artists, and teachers, gay men can claim a valiant and varied history. The wisdom of these gay ways of being and seeing is a part of the religion and mythology of peoples throughout the world. But until now, this heritage has been hidden and denied. Queer Spirits offers gay men the key to unlocking this treasure, to finding the myths, the archetypes, the gods, and heroes that portray the inner meaning of their lives. Bast, do you want to come up? You can. Thank you, Bast. Welcome, Bast the beautiful, my other black cat. Thank you for being in the video. Based on tireless research in the archives of mythology and folklore, Queer Spirits weaves a rich, multicultural tapestry. Selections include everything from Chinese folk tales to first-hand accounts of First Nation or Native American two-spirits, to the occasional gay archetypes to be gleaned from nursery rhymes, newspaper clippings, and gay erotica. Bye, Bast. See you soon. Among the writers represented are Hans Christian Andersen, yes, James Broughton, Jean Cocteau, Stephen Saylor, S-A-Y-L-O-R with a capital S, Samuel Stewart, and of course, Walt Whitman. Interspersing these selections is the author's commentary on their meaning, drawing on his own inner journey, beginning with his arrival as a young man in the teeming gay world of San Francisco in the 1970s. The result is a fascinating, often loving testimony to gay spirit that shows how gay men can find the myths and heroes within themselves. And of course, The Witch I Am must also include a metaphysical magical book. Wyrdworking, The Path of a Saxon Sorcerer by Alaric Albertsson. Fun fact, I actually had the honor and pleasure of meeting the author at an event called Between the Worlds, a gay pagan festival for men who love men. Now, the reason I'm going to read this book and the reason why I want to read this book is because of its inclusion with the Elder Futhark runes. Anyway, a handbook of Saxon sorcery and magic. Within these pages, you'll find everything you need to know to practice Saxon sorcery. Alaric Albertsson once again uncovers the practices and customs of the Anglo-Saxons hidden in early charms and English folk traditions. His first book, Travels Through Middle-earth, taught readers how to connect with Saxon cosmology, deities, spirits, and rituals. Now, Wyrdworking tells how to craft rune charms, brew potions, cast effective spells, and use magical techniques to find love and prosperity. This handbook explores the folklore, meanings, and magical properties of all 33 of Old English Futhark runes, including not just the Elder Futhark, but probably also the Younger Futhark and the Anglo-Saxon runes as well, classifying them by theme, such as animals or trees, to help you learn. and discover how to make a wand or a staff, consecrate and use a sax, capital S-E-A-X, which is the Anglo-Saxon word for knife, as in a boline or an atame, and practice the herbal healing known as wort cunning, W-O-R-T-C-U-N-N-I-N-G. Design effective spells for the use of Galdor, or incantations. Practice Wiglung, the art of soothsaying, and create your own set of powerful divinatory runes. I will read to you a little bit about the author. So Alaric Albertsson, based in one of my favorite states, Pennsylvania, has been practicing paganism for more than 40 years. He is a founding member of Arundel Hearth, an Anglo-Saxon Inred. I believe that means guild or tribe or community. He is also a member of the Druidic organization. I'm not going to bother pronouncing it, but I will list it in the description box for this video. Visit him online at www.alaricalbertson.com. And there you have it. Here are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 books that I want to read, preferably before the conclusion of 2026. I will say that according to my Goodreads account, I am currently 4 books ahead of schedule, so I may be able to fit these in, but I will say that I must read all of them. I must. And if I wound up reading, 27 books simultaneously, so be it. But I felt that I've been away too long from my cozy mystery, so I definitely need to make time for them. And there are 2 Catherine Ponder books that I must finally reread this month. Hence that slam as saying, Mr. Alvarez, you know you got to do that, right? Right. Anyway, so I will list the titles of these books and the authors in the description box in this video. What books do you want to read? Let me know in the comments. I always say that I never need book recommendations, but I'm always open to them. And the photograph of this, for this book, well, I will include a link to the actual post in my Instagram, but I want to tell you that I will have Drake take a photograph of these books the way that I've discussed them. That way you will have access to looking at the titles. But for now, I do want to say that I would love to hear what books you want to read. And please, it doesn't have to be a new book. It could be an old book. Of all of these books, the oldest one is Queer Spirit. And I think Wyrdworking is another old one. Of the top 5, the newest one, I believe, is either Before I Let Go by Lee Kennedy Ryan or Agnes Aubert's Mystical Cat Shelter by Heather Fawcett. So, but I'm not one of those people that I only have to read new books, or I must only read new books. It's the one thing I find annoying about the Fable app. It's like, they're all new books. When does somebody get... I must be the only one that, like, reads not new books, but I digress. Anyway, so let me know in the comments what you want to read, what you've been wanting to read, what you have planned to read. And if you have any book recommendations, even though I don't need them, I'm totally open to them. As always, thank you so much to all of these authors, all of these publishing houses, all of the people who made these books possible. Thank you to all of the bookstores and websites who sold them. I will have you know that I purchased half of these from independent books. Actually, I purchased all of them from independent booksellers. And independently owned bookshops as well. And of course to all the websites that sell books. And of course, thank you to all of you in YouTube land for all the likes, comments, shares, and subscriptions to my YouTube channel. And an extra big and beautiful and bountiful thank you to those of you who have already scheduled your sessions. And as always, stay in tune with your intuition, stay safe, stay well, stay hydrated, and stay tuned for the next video.